I do like the toothpaste, the way they call it. Hello. You like the paste?
Yeah, no, it was
Right on time.
Right on time.
As promised. There you are, you're on time.
Not easy.
We are live.
Are we waiting for Rob?
I think we're gonna start.
It's up to you.
I wanna sign up for next week. What? I wanna sign up for next week. I wonder could you do I have to do all these right this second?
No.
For your signature.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's done to the side during the meeting. 30 people really have to have that. Volunteer to help you, just send it out. Who's gonna be?
Easy and see. Oh, there's Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Hello.
You're on.
Hi, Rob.
7 PM work session meeting is now called to order. Can I get a roll call on the Township Committee?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Mr. Bushra?
Here?
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Mr. Malfione?
Here.
Mr. Shanley?
Here.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Here. Now can I get a reading of the open work session statement, please?
Yes. Please take notice that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:426 et sec, and in consideration of Executive Order Number 103 issued by Governor Murphy on March 9, 2020, declaring a state of emergency in the state of New Jersey, the Township Committee of the Township of Wykoff does hereby notify the public that to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens while ensuring the continued functioning of government, this meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Wykoff scheduled for 7 p.m. Tuesday, March 16, 2021 at Wykoff Town Hall, 340 Franklin Avenue, Wykoff, New Jersey, 07481 will be live streamed via the Township of Wykoff's YouTube channel. And members of the public may call 201-891-7000 extension 222 should they wish to provide public comment during the public comment period. Members of the public may also email their public comments to wykoffclerk@wykoff-nj.com before 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting. These comments will be read at the meeting during the public comment period. These measures are implemented to allow members of the public to observe the meeting via live streaming and to provide to the public the ability to comment before the meeting through written comments, as well as during the period for public comments which appeared on the agenda for the meeting. This notice and agenda have been posted on the front door of Town Hall facing Franklin Avenue and on the Township's homepage, wykoff-nj.com, at the quick link for minutes and agendas on Friday, March 12, 2021. Please select Township Committee and locate the date of the meeting to view documents such as resolutions and ordinances which would otherwise be made available. General instructions regarding access to the meeting will be posted on the Wykoff website's homepage at wykoff-nj.com as a news item on Friday, March 12th by 4:30 p.m. To view the Township Committee meeting via live stream, please access the YouTube link, which will be posted on the Wykoff website's homepage at wykoff-nj.com as a news item immediately prior to the commencement of the meeting at approximately 6:55 p.m. on March 16, 2020. To be notified of all future live stream Township meetings, please create a YouTube account and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Township of Wykoff. In the event the YouTube platform modifies its connectivity protocols and does not announce these critical changes again in the future, instructions on how to view each meeting via Zoom technology will be posted at the news section of the Township's homepage, wykoff-nj.com, before 7:10 p.m. This second method is provided to ensure the continuity of government when platforms which the Township does not control establish unannounced changes, and will only be utilized if it is not possible to conduct the meeting via live stream on YouTube. As a precaution for this Plan B, the following instructions are provided. Please locate the link posted on the news item announcing the Township Committee meeting on the homepage of our website and use this link for the March 16, 2021 meeting set to begin at 7 p.m. This regular work session meeting of the Wykoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk, as well as the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald and News, all newspapers having a general circulation throughout the Township of Whitecroft. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers. The agenda with the resolutions and ordinances to be considered was posted on the Township's website at Minutes and Agendas on the Friday prior to this meeting.
Thank you, Nancy. Could you confirm that the Finance Committee has reviewed and signed all the vouchers?
Yes, they have.
Here are the last mayor's
Okay.
signatures. Thank you. Did we receive any written comments prior to 3 o'clock today?
Did not.
Okay, then can I get a motion to open the 10-minute public comment period, 2 minutes per speaker for public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the Township of Whitecroft?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Belfion?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes. Please call 201-891-7000, extension 222, if you wish to make a comment. Can I get a motion to close the public comment period?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melfion?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes. Bob, can I get a review of the 8 PM business meeting agenda, please?
Yes, thank you very much. The agenda for 8 o'clock is as was posted on Friday. I would just care to review a couple things. The agenda includes 2 shared service agreements with Bergen County. One is required for ADA curb ramp compliance, and Bergen County will not consider paving their Bergen County roads in Wyckoff without this shared service in place. Shared service agreements are encouraged by the state of New Jersey, and they are considered best practice. The second shared service with the county is for the county to pave their roads in Wyckoff. We also have on the agenda 2 contract awards. They are Wolf Shared Service Contract Awards. Wolf is the shared service group consisting of Wyckoff, Oakland, and Franklin Lakes. What we try to achieve is discount pricing based on aggregating the needs of the 3 communities. In this case, as you know, we've done it earlier in the year for recreation equipment. This time we did it for 128 fire suppression and firefighter protective equipment. We make contract awards based on individual unit prices. 30% of those contract items are at last year's prices or low. We also have an award of a contract for turnout gear. Turnout gear is the colloquial description of the personal protective equipment that firefighters wear before they go into a hazardous situation or environment. We also have a resolution to award a contract for the purchase of a replacement truck with sand salter and plow. This is from the state of New Jersey contract, and the pricing is very good. We have a closed session resolution for at the end of the 8 o'clock meeting to enter closed session to discuss pending litigation. We also have that, I also need to indicate that the Finance Committee has worked very hard and diligent crafting a budget in this environment of loss of revenues from the 2020 pandemic year. The Finance Committee will report further during the report. Just for the record, the Township has not received notice and instruction from the state of New Jersey as to revenue procedures for the Federal Rescue Plan legislation. And as we all know, New Jersey municipalities are strictly regulated by state rules, and revenue aid must be certified by the state. We also propose to add 2 resolutions to this agenda. One resolution invokes Title 59 immunities available for municipalities, and the second resolution is a dedication by writer for donations for public events and the Memorial Day Parade. Those are my comments, Madam Mayor, on the 8 PM agenda.
And anything on PAIs?
Yes, if I can, I have a couple things I'd like to review on policy action items. They are, as the governing body knows, we have implemented 5 online forms as of March 1st, which have been established for resident convenience. In the works, which we're working on right now, is a form that would allow for the calculation of electric generator loads for vendors and homeowners requesting a emergency generator for their home. We are also in the process of implementing the Uniform Construction Code Fast Track software permit system. So those are our next two priorities, and we have project teams working on them. Next item I'd like to mention is that our attempt to promote the Recycle Coach app has been successful in the last month or so. We're up to 2,332 of our residents are using this tool. It's approximately 225 more from approximately a month and a half ago. I did want to point out to you that we had a correspondence from Bergen County regarding their second round of COVID-19 CDBG grant opportunities. I had a conversation with the assistant director, and the township, again, just like in the first round, does not qualify for these funds because we don't have census districts with 51% or more of low and moderate income, residents with low and moderate incomes. I do want to point out to you an often overlooked program in the township that was established a few years ago. However, it's very effective. Our Project Medicine Box, which is located in the lobby of the police department, last year recycled 442 pounds of medicine and prescriptions. That means 442 pounds of drugs which were safely disposed of. Our Shred Fest event last year resulted in a recycling of 18 pounds of prescription. The medicine box will be at the Friday, April 23rd Shred Fest event. Our grant application has been submitted for the Pays to Plug In for an electric vehicle charging station. The next open space grant application or opportunity, I've had an opportunity to speak with the staff, and our recommendation is to continue with the installation of the Flexi Paver Easy on the Knees walking path material. Since the township purchased Russell Farms Community Park, this 5-acre lot was saved from 70 condo developments, and the amenities have been constructed and funded over time with approximately 5 park improvement grants. I'm requesting permission to move forward with the application, which has a lot of extensive details and work, and I'm looking for approval to move forward with the extension of the Flexi Pave material so we can finish the ADA walking trail that exists there. If that's okay, I'll move forward with that. I had in the packet a draft ordinance regarding real estate signs. I was asked by the staff to extend that, to extend the period that the permit would be valid for from 2 months to 6 months. They tell me that the average or typical real estate sales contract is for 6 months. I did not increase the cost, which is currently $30 for 2 months. I would like approval to put this on the next governing body agenda, or if you desire to increase the fee, you just need to tell me what that fee would be.
Well, since we're increasing the number of months, it probably should go up to about $60 a month, I would think.
No, it shouldn't, because that would be out of whack with every town around here. And we don't need to be double what every town is around here.
I think,
It was an error, really, that it was 2 months,
It was an
because
error.
there's no real estate transaction that from the time you list a house until the time it's sold is 2 months.
I mean, if we're gonna extend it to 6 months, I mean, it probably should be commensurate, but I wouldn't object to $50. But I think it should
I
be
kinda agree.
$50.
Yeah, a 50 is fine with me.
Many of the towns around here don't even require permits to put up signs. There's no fee.
Well, we pretty conscientiously try to regulate our signage in town here.
We're very heavily regulated, but that doesn't mean we need to increase the fee because our time period was incorrect.
Yeah, I mean, I would keep the fee the same and just increase the time.
They still like $50. I think that's reasonable. I'm just kind of,
Reasonable based on what? Based on the other towns around here?
reasonable based upon a fee and what's associated with signage and processing and new systems and the months you're doing it. I don't find it unreasonable.
I don't know the business, but from a cost-benefit standpoint, $50 is not a lot of money.
It's absolutely a lot of money to local business people who are hurting in a pandemic. We're talking about our local business people. The homeowners don't pay this fee, the realtors pay the fee.
I'm not a realtor, but I find it still reasonable.
But when we go to most other towns, there is no fee. I don't think now is the right time to be raising fees on any local businesses.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially arbitrarily without any study of what any other town does.
Well, right now, they would have to reapply every 2 months and pay $30.
Except that nobody does that. And nobody's ever fined for extending from the 2 months. The practice is that you get a permit and the sign stays out as long as you have the listing. No one is fined after 2 months.
What's the cost to have a sign installed on one of these fancy signs, like a T sign with a thing hanging on it with 2 other little signs under it? Is there a cost to that? There must be a company that does that, right?
Yes,
What's the
it's
cost?
typically around $40.
So, for $100, you get a sign for 6 months. I don't know, doesn't sound like a bad deal. But I don't want it. Bob, have we done any surveying of other municipalities? And if we haven't, should we? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, you know.
That is something, if you want, we could do.
I did that.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
I don't remember talking
That
about it.
was attached to my email.
I missed it.
I missed it too, so. So it sounds like, based upon that, we're not prepared to discuss it. We don't have this email and these fee structures and so on and so forth. I don't think it's time of the essence, is it, Bob?
No, it isn't.
Well,
It was just, no, it isn't.
All right, so we'll carry it
So we'll
on.
carry it.
Carry it on.
I mean, you want to get it done sooner than later with the spring
What's a month?
market. The spring market coming too, so.
Well, I mean, at this
I would be
point,
in
we
favor.
can kind of correct our own error by putting it at 6 months and then discuss what we want to do with the fee afterwards.
I would do it, I would only want to do it simultaneously. So if you want to keep it or whatever, 2-3 months, until we get the emails that has fees and we discuss it and go over it. But I'm just, from my perspective, I just don't find it unreasonable at all.
I just can't imagine raising fees on small businesses in this climate.
Well,
Well, it's coming out of a lot of it comes out of the realtor side, so they're paying it, not really the companies.
I mean, again, you're a realtor. We're not a realtor.
No, I get that. But why would we be raising fees right now?
Because we just
Because we
said we
extended,
gotta
well,
go to
because
6
we
months.
doubled the time, that's why.
But we had an error. It
well,
was our
yeah, but-
error in making it 2 months.
Well, I don't think any of us here made it 2 months.
No, but I'm saying it was the township's error in making it 2 months.
Well, how long's it been, 2 months? Quite a period of
For
time.
years.
Years.
Oh, well, maybe it's the township's error making it $30 for 2 months. So are we trying to get it right?
Well, except I'm telling you that most other towns do not charge a fee for their permits for a sign.
That's a good deal. I vote to defer for a month. What's a month?
All right, I would
What's a month?
defer it too.
And it's not even a month, it's just a couple of weeks.
Well, it's a couple weeks, right, right. So next meeting. Couple weeks.
I would defer it then too. I would agree with that.
I mean, I'll make a motion to that.
Let's second that motion.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
No, I think we should extend and keep the fee now.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Rubenstein?
No.
Okay, we will then do a study and obtain what the local municipalities charge. Next item I have, and my last item, is there was information in the packet, extensive information, on the 2022 calendar theme. The recommendation from the staff is the Garden Town and the Garden State, which would include information, which would include solicitation from the public on photos of their gardens. If you don't like that theme, just tell me and we'll try to come up with a better theme.
What happened to my theme of Wyckoff past, present, future?
And I still like the theme of Wyckoff is home, but I think we can gather a lot of positive, upbeat photos. And to Melissa's point, not that I'm stuck on what it's called, but I'd kind of like to see people and activities and beauty across the town.
You know, it's always more manageable when you have a specific theme that can fit into 12 months and you don't leave out any group. So some of these broad themes make it difficult, especially since this is an ancillary responsibility that we try to do with a minimal amount of time. I'll take another look at the Wyckoff past, present, and future. And come up next, present next week, a recommendation.
Not to complicate this further, but in thinking of this, what about the parks of Wyckoff? We keep acquiring more parks. And we don't, I mean, they're well-used, and we love having them, but we never promote them or advertise them.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm seeing as I'm the Parks Commissioner.
But I also
It
think
just
that,
occurred to me.
I think that's also
In
part
fact,
of,
we're about to acquire another one based on the planning board's actions and Rob Landell's efforts. We're on the cusp of acquiring another one.
well, I also think that could be highlighted in either of the two other themes. Particularly
Well-
when you're home, what else is going on in town? People, properties, surroundings, quality of life, small town feel. I don't know. Those could be
What's-
woven in.
What's our hard deadline on this, Bob? 3 weeks ago, or?
No, it's really something that really ought to be starting in the next month or two.
We have a subcommittee?
No, no, just,
Okay.
no, don't do that to
Okay.
me.
All right, okay, okay.
What I'll do is I'll take these themes and see if I can come up with 12 monthly topics. And I'll come back next meeting with those. If that's okay, I'll move forward with that way. Come back with 12 monthly themes on each one of them. I think that's all I have.
All right, we're going to go on to the reports of the Township Committee members. Tim, do you want to start?
Sure, I'll be brief. Just the rec board met last night. It was a long meeting. It wound up running out of Zoom time because they only had the 45-minute free one. But they got their business done. They approved the rec coaches for baseball, softball, and lacrosse. And I was one of the first grade coaches they approved. I'll be one of the 8 first grade rec baseball coaches. And then they did discuss, Andy discussed that he had a meeting regarding the football league. The 13 teams that played last year are back. But there is a discussion to go to an age base requirement for the 3rd to 8th graders. Right now, the peewees are 3rd and 4th, juniors are 5th and 6th, and the seniors are 7th and 8th. But if they go to a age base similar to what soccer did years ago, some of the 8th graders may be out of the being able to play in the league by the time they get to 8th grade. And it's usually if somebody was left back or held back, they may be too old by the time they get to 8th grade to play in the same league that we've been playing in for years. But no decision has been made, and Andy will keep us up to date as to what the football league is going to do. But that would be the only situation where a student, a player, wouldn't be able to play with the same team from 3rd grade all the way to 8th. Because that's what some of the concern was from members of the rec board, is everybody loves the fact that they could play from 3rd to 8th and then they go to high school. And hopefully that will continue. But that's my report. Thank you.
All right, Rudy?
Okay, Police Committee met last Thursday, talked about a number of things. I'll just highlight probably 2 of them, and Melissa, you can, or 3 of them, and you can pick up on that if you would like to, as Commissioner. We had a visit from our PBA president, which was a nice gesture, and he was welcome there. We had about a 30 or 40-minute conversation with him. We have a retirement of a long-serving police officer, probably 30 years, will be retiring this year, so we authorized the chief to initiate the process to recruit an entry-level officer. And the marijuana legislation that was signed into law by the governor has created more questions than answers. And I guess at this point we're waiting for the legislature to act further on what they might do with some of the fallout from the initial legislation. Planning Board, as I indicated a few moments ago, Planning Board approved a minor subdivision of the Maple Lake property, which separates the 21 or so acres the township is proposing to purchase from the 5 or so acres that the developer will retain for at some point future development. The application was brought to the board, ably I might say, by Rob Landell, and everything went fairly smoothly. It was a unanimous vote. There was a little bit of a protracted discussion, precipitated by myself, unfortunately, regarding sewer easements, but we got through it. And now I'll get to another subject I want to report on, and I'll use the Maple Lake site as a way to get to it, segue. We are moving ahead with 2 street renamings, and we're going to move ahead a little more quickly now. One is to change the name of Maple Drive, which serves an entrance to the Maple Lake property. And the other is, that'll be named for former Mayor Henry McNamara. The other is the renaming of High Street, which is behind us here, near the firehouse, which will be named for firefighter Dana Hannon, who lost his life on 9/11. Now, there will be, we always thought there was just one address on Maple Drive. Well, it turns out, based on this subdivision, there will now be 3 addresses once the deeds are completed. And we should have them properly assigned to the new street once we name it. So it's important that we move ahead, and the same with renaming High Street for Dana Hannon, in that this is the 20th anniversary of the attack on the World Trade Center, so it's important. I think we're going to probably move ahead and try to get that done at the next meeting or two. Historic Preservation Commission met and discussed primarily the original 14 homes that are listed, or 14 structures, I should say, that are listed on the state and national historic registers. We're going to begin, and they were the initial impetus for the creation of the Historic Preservation Commission. And the commission would like to do a few things to start the process of dealing with those 14 structures, and also possibly moving into other categories. One is, and I put in your bin an article just yesterday, an article that was written by one of our members, Pat Constance, which kind of introduces the Historic Preservation Commission and goes into briefly what its mission would be and how the commission intends to begin to get there. And we'd like to put that in the Township Weekly e-newsletter, just to get out there to the residents so they know that the commission exists and what its mission is. In conjunction with that, I have a memo here that Bob just presented me with to the building department to bring to their attention the addresses and block and lot numbers of the 14 original structures, and with a request that if anything should come in that would change the exterior of those structures, or worse yet, attempt to demolish one of them, it should be brought to the attention of the commission immediately for discussion. What else do I want to talk about? Wyckoff Education Commission met last night via Zoom. April 23rd is the Shred Fest. It's a Friday. We're going to have a Shred Fest, a prescription drug collection, and probably a styrofoam collection. We're working on a proper way to, or an assured way, someone who will take the styrofoam once we collect it, and if we can secure someone to take it, we'll probably go ahead and do it. The following Saturday, the 24th of April, is Team Up to Tidy Up, which will be COVID safe as it was last year, even though it was in the fall last year. And I believe it's April 17th is a composting event. We're going to try to ramp up the effort for composting this year. We're going to advertise it a little better, maybe have some tours of Russell Farms Park, and look at the sensory garden, show people the sensory garden and the butterfly garden and things like that, and try to get some more interest in composting, because every container roughly this size that we can get some with the compost is one less, that's a full pound of material that would not go into solid waste. And it's actually weight-wise more effective than, I don't know how many Poland Spring bottles it takes to make a pound, but it's a whole lot of volume. So, there was discussion about trying to alert new residents to the Recycle Coach app. The participants are growing every month, pretty much, but if we could alert new residents to it, which I don't think we have a target on new residents, we may be able to increase that the usership of the Recycle Coach app, which actually works very well. There's a Green Film Festival coming up again in the spring, and it will be a drive-in event in Franklin Lakes by one of the large parking lots over by the Express Scripts building. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Tom?
Could I pass, because I was going to make some comments and then get into the budget discussion? Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Melchiong, let me come back to me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Pete?
All right, thank you, Mayor. Just have a few things. First, the mayor and myself have been working with our volunteers for the senior hotline that we have set up. That's for seniors who are having trouble with technology registering for the vaccine. And that number is 201-891-7000, extension 116. And both of us have been checking that daily. Usually we check it around 4 p.m. and then distribute the messages to our volunteers. We've had about, give or take, about 25 seniors that have left messages that are being helped with our volunteers as of today. The Board of Health met last week. Our Bergen County Health Rep was in attendance of the meeting. She is continuously updating us on what is going on at the county and state level with the vaccines. Our Board of Health President is also in constant contact with our health officer, making sure that we're up to date on the most current information, and then we're pushing that out to the residents of our town. Also, our Board of Health President did a video with Ridgewood Water, addressing the Ridgewood Water flyer that was sent out a few weeks ago. I believe that's up on our website. Bob, did that go up on the website? It did not, is it?
Waiting for approval.
Okay, well, that video should be coming up on the website, but it is circulating, and it's been getting some positive views. The Memorial Day Parade Committee met last week at the VFW. We had some initial discussion on what will be happening for this upcoming Memorial Day. There are some plans that have been discussed, and we'll be meeting again next week to hopefully finalize some of those plans and have some type of recommendation for Memorial Day. And then leading into that, we last Wednesday we launched our military tribute banner campaign, and that is live at militarytributebanners.org, and then you click on current programs, Wyckoff, New Jersey, and that's, once again, it's a cost of $150, and a 24-inch by 48-inch banner will be displayed from Memorial Day through Labor Day through Wyckoff, honoring a veteran or any active duty service member, related to a resident in Wyckoff. And these mini, we have them in email blast, social media, and you could pick up one of these mini flyers at the reception desk at the library. And that's all I have.
All right, thanks. Tom, do you want to go now?
Sure. By the way, I'm going in no particular order, but I was able to attend the parade meeting last week with Pete Melchiong. And, as he said, there's a follow-up meeting, but I just want to compliment you on this great idea. Maybe you could show us the the banner, Pete. It's a great initiative, very patriotic. We can honor a loved one, deceased, or living from a war or serving. Wow, that's fantastic. Look at the cameras over here. Oh, this side. That's it? Yeah. And what makes it extra special is, if you have the photograph, we're gonna coordinate this, if Pete's coordinating it, it's gonna be, the banners will be hung up, they'll be on brackets, and then I think the period's gonna be Memorial Day to Labor Day approximately.
Yeah, approximately Labor Day.
And then, at the end, the person that purchased the banner can keep it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
So it's a great initiative, it's very patriotic, gonna be colorful, And I think it's $150, which covers the cost of the banner and the brackets you're gonna put them on.
That's correct.
And so I just wanted to, it was a great initiative, and I know a couple of people have seen and heard about it, and they're excited. I'll talk about the budget in a minute. The K-8 Board of Ed met last night. They had previously met 5 weeks ago for their February meeting, and they'll be meeting again, not to the end of April, so 6 weeks from now. They only meet once a month. Last night, the topics were, they went into many concerned parents on the COVID procedures with school closing and quarantining at the schools. There was no more transparency nor comments on the Eisenhower School issues. Kind of surprised a lot of people. And they did introduce a preliminary budget that they were going to send to the county before they had a budget hearing the end of April. And what I heard or understood was that they're anticipating a modest decrease. They're getting additional state aid, and they're going to give that back to the taxpayers. So that was positive. The Budget Committee, and it was great to once again be on the Budget Committee with Melissa Rubenstein. And a special thank you to Diana McLeod, our CFO, as well as our Township Administrator, Bob Shannon. I'm going to touch on a few of the highlights. I know we have it on our business meeting agenda, but some of the parameters that guided the Finance Committee. The budget was developed with the taxpayer in mind. All worked diligently. We had more than 7 meetings and delivered a budget with a focus on maintaining existing residential services. We focused on continued infrastructure and safety investments. Technology investments, including cybersecurity, were made where we can demonstrate efficiency and economic gains. And the budget is within the state mandates. And the 2021 municipal budget follows the 2020 budget, which decreased municipal taxes and provided relief at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic emergency last year. In fact, in 2020, the relief was achieved by applying $200,000 more in revenue, resulting in a tax decrease to our residents on $5.56 on the average home. The 2021 budget has eliminated the tax increase to 0.9% per $100 assessed value, resulting in a tax increase of approximately $72.05 on the average home, assessed at $800,000. The global public health pandemic did impact our revenue, regeneration, and availability during this difficult and austere 2021 budget. And that budget appropriations, the appropriations this year were actually reduced by 1.32% to offset such revenue losses, revenues that would otherwise, we would have been able to apply. And again, we focused on service and safety investments, which included investments in the township infrastructure for road resurfacing, replacing DPW rolling stock, as we reached the end of their life. The budget also included the purchase of an additional hybrid police vehicle to replace older models. Obviously, there'll be environmental benefits will be achieved by reducing the carbon footprint, be reduced idling emissions and reduced fuel consumption, and technology advancement for the Uniform Construction Code Office, and a program digitizing permits will be continued this year, which will help improve efficiency. And I think that's the initial highlights. There may be some additional comments if they want to wait. Madam Mayor, either now or later on, but these are some of the highlights of the budget that we'll be introducing this evening. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to keep it brief as well. I want to thank the volunteers who have been helping to get our seniors vaccination appointments. We have about 5 volunteers who have been on a rotation, and Pete and I, as he said, are assigning the volunteers to everyone who calls into the line, and they've been reaching out to everyone who calls, and believe it's close to 20 appointments that they've made for our seniors. So it's really been a great program, and I thank them for their time. Tom went through most of the pertinent points on the budget. I do want to kind of touch on the American Rescue Plan, the 1.6 million that's kind of been reported in the press. We've received no direct information or guidance on that money. Our CFO, Diana McLeod, has been following up for us, and it does sound like municipalities under 50,000 will have to apply for the aid in a grant-type structure. According to Diana, 50% would be received now, 50% in 2022. And how that plays into the budget, we cannot wait for this money in order to pass our budget this year. We have to submit our budget to the state now. We have to pass it next month. We can't wait for this influx of money, nor can we assign it to anything in the budget, because we don't know exactly how much we're getting this year or what it may be earmarked for. So we're still waiting on guidance from the state as to how they're going to distribute it. But of course, the question is going to come up, can we offset costs in this budget with the American Rescue Plan money? And the answer is we cannot at this point, because this is not money we have or even know when we're going to be receiving or how much we're going to receive this year. So we're still going to, keep an eye on that, watch it, and we're obviously looking forward to getting, the relief, but we don't know what it can be applied to at this point or when we're going to get it. And I think Tom really touched on most of the other points in the budget. Total revenues were down 800,000 from last year. And even with that, we reduced expenditures in our budget by 1.32%. So we kept an eye on costs, but also prioritized paving our roads, hybrid vehicle for the police department, keeping our fire department up to date with their safety equipment. So all of the things that we value every year, we are still putting into this budget despite the lack of revenue, and we were able to cut back costs a little bit. So it was not an easy year, obviously, with the pandemic, but we are very proud of the budget that we're putting forth tonight. So I think that's it. Rob, do you have anything?
Yep, just real quick. As Rudy touched upon, we received planning board approval for the Maple Lake subdivision, so I was going to follow up with the county, need to secure county approval. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And Rudy touched on it. There's actually a really good question by him that night, and it dealt with potentially being able to extend the sewer line from an already existing line within the property we're taking to Pace Drive. And there was at least 1 or 2 residents, I think, who called from Pace Drive, asking for the possibility. So I have been speaking to county council, because obviously the county's going to have a deed restriction on this property for open space, talking about the feasibility of it. We may end up putting a demarcation for a sewer line, just a small one, a small shot, before we acquire it. I'm just trying to find out what's going to be the easiest way to go forward. So although it made for a little bit of a lengthy discussion and detour that night, as usual, Rudy made a good point. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but it's probably to work out for the best as the way those meetings usually go. When there's some dialogue and a little bit of back and forth, they usually end up with a better plan by the end of the night. I think that's where this is going. You got the memo on the new marijuana law. I'm sorry it was so long and probably confusing, but I got to tell you, it's just not that the laws contradict each other, but the definition and the terminology between them not wanting to change much, some portions of the criminal statutes versus the motor vehicle statutes versus the new civil statutes, and it's a maze. But you know, if you ever have questions on it, you want to call me, I'd be more than happy to give you whatever insight I can. I do think we should now, rather than wait for later, work on, you know, I can draft for the next meeting, or so you can review before the next meeting, an ordinance prohibiting the dispensaries and, you know, manufacturing in Wykoff, as most of the municipalities are doing around here. The league has circulated pretty much a form ordinance. And if you want, I can work on that and get it out to you. It wouldn't take much work, and at least we'll have it if you want to introduce it at the next few meetings. I think we've got closed session tonight with respect to litigation. And just on the side, I guess this is kind of a question for Bob too. I just happened to be speaking to some guys in a local soccer club. And I know there's a desire, I think not just by the soccer club, but anybody else who uses the small turf field down by the hockey rink. They want, I guess it's not lit, it should be, they're looking for a light specifically for that mini turf field. So Bob, I don't know if you're looking for small grants for something like that, but I think they would probably be willing to donate the matching portion, so it wouldn't cost the town anything. I don't know if there's a grant possible for that or not, but I know they've been looking into pricing.
I'll look into that.
And that's all I got.
Rob, along the lines of the marijuana legislation and the ordinance that we would take a look at,
Right.
could you find out kind of the financial implications for the town of passing a resolution to bar sales?
I know you don't, we can't avail ourselves to the to the income, you know, from the sales tax on it. But other than that, I'll look into it. Other than that, I don't think it has any other effect.
Okay, that was what I was thinking of, but
Yeah.
I just want to know that piece of it. And potentially what the sales tax income would be on a town of this size.
Good. That's all I have.
Great. All right, then I'm going to get a motion to recess the open work session since we are going into closed session tonight.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes?
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melfion?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes.
Guess we get about 9 minutes.
Yeah, we'll be back.